And maybe that's why I embrace my own curiosity, always eager to learn and solve problems. One of my earliest obsessions was becoming an aerospace engineer, of all things. Yes, I wanted to design rockets, space rockets. But just to give you a glimpse into Dad's approach to life, when I expressed this dream to him, I thought he may have just shrugged it off and said, "Child, what are you talking about?" But instead, he took action. Using his contacts at the U.S. Embassy, we used to do a lot of work for the U.S. Embassy back in the day. He asked one of the representatives, what would it take for my son to work for NASA? When he told me that, I was stunned. The sheer boldness of it all, that he thought that, his son could go work for NASA. I just thought, and it just simply amazed me. But that was Dad. He didn't just dream, he took action. He helped people wherever what he could, and I was no exception in that. We shared a love of science and sci-fi, and interest we kept alive until the very end. And then, of course, there was politics, a topic that fueled many of our conversations, even up until the last Friday when I had lunch with him. While he was in Nassau, I made it a point to meet him at home for lunch almost every day. We talked about everything from U.S. politics to pothole repairs. He was deeply invested in making the world a better place, and I believe he did more than his fair share. As leader of Blameless, he touched the lives of hundreds of electricians, many of whom went on to start their own businesses. He believed in sharing, teaching, and uplifting others. But more than anything, Dad inspired boldness, even in the face of great odds. That boldness brings me to a story I'll never forget. When I graduated from Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, basically the middle of nowhere, USA, I had no idea what I was thinking at the time, or whether I was thinking at all. My family was making all these plans to come visit me and attend the ceremony, and at the last minute, I realized I had made a massive oversight. After I couldn't find a hotel near the campus, so I looked and finally found one about 20 miles away. So my family arrived, all ready to go, go to the ceremony. I had a friend drop me off to the hotel. They got up the next morning, got dressed. There was one problem. I'm like, well, how are we going to get to campus? How are we going to get to graduation? No problem. I thought, just like that. I said, speak to the manager. I spoke to the manager. And I said, can you call us a taxi? He said, well, sorry, we don't have taxis in this town. I'm like, what should we do? He said, well, maybe ask one of the housekeepers to take you, beg you. So we basically started begging and asking, and the people I couldn't get anybody. Unbeknownst to me though. After panic set in, Dad, I'm like, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I brought all these family members now sort of go to graduation, and now they're going to miss my graduation. So I, desperate, begging, the housekeeper, the lady who was cleaning the room, I said, please, can you, I'll pay whatever. And she said no. And just when all hope seemed was lost, my father showed up. He was in the passenger seat of this large sedan. And he looked at us and he said, y'all ready? And we hurried into the car, and we made it to graduation. And everything went fine, and lived that day. And I asked Dad, I said, how did you pull this off? What happened? He said, well, he just, we knew the situation. And he started walking down the street in the middle of nowhere in this town in southern Illinois. And he saw a group of men. And he approached them, he told them the predicament. And one of the guys said, yes, we'll take you, no problem. I said, well, yeah, how did you convince them? And he said, well, he used a line from The Godfather. Don Quixote as one of the characters, The Godfather. He said he made him